Hello and welcome to Back at Camp, Mojave County's only outdoor television show. I'm your host, Captain Don Martin, and on today's show, I got two very special guests. I got with me a couple of students from our recent hunter education class. One of them turned out to be the honor graduate and got to take her and her family on a fishing trip on Lake Mead. So we're going to talk all about that today on today's show. So don't go away. We're going to be right back after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Back at Camp. I'm your host, Captain Don Martin. On today's show, I have two very special guests I'd like to introduce to you. This is Hallie Powell. How old are you, Hallie?
12.
And Joe. How old are you?
13.
Okay, let me give you a little background about these two kids. These two kids and their dad, Brian, were in our most recent hunter education class out at the 7 Mile Hill Range. Now, as a chief instructor, my job is to help prepare for that class and to teach this class. And one of the things that we do, we look for outstanding students in that class, and we actually reward them for their extraordinary efforts by giving the top honor graduate of each class a fishing trip for that person and a parent, guardian, or family member. And then we also have a good student award that is given to students who cause no problems, have all their homework done, and basically are just good kids. And the top honor graduate actually draws a name out of the hat, and that student and a parent, guardian, family member gets to go on a family trip, or gets to go on a fishing trip with me and at Lake Mead, and we go catch stripers and catfish. So the Powell family were part of our most recent hunter education class. Like I say, Brian, their dad, and Hallie and Joey all took the class. Now, you guys took that 2-weekend class, and you both graduated.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think about the class, Hallie?
I thought it was really fun.
Did you learn anything?
Yeah,
Okay. Now, how long has it been since you've taken the class?
probably like 2 months.
2 or 3 months ago? You took it in March?
Right.
Okay. Just to kind of throw things out, what is tab plus 1?
T is treat every firearm as if it were loaded. A is always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. B, be sure of your target and the surrounding beyond. Plus 1 is keep your finger outside the trigger guard until ready to shoot.
There you go. There you go. Joe, why do we teach hunter ed? What's the purpose of hunter education?
So people can hunt responsible, know the laws, and be ethical hunters.
And safe.
Yeah,
And safe hunters. Now, you guys took a 2-weekend class. It's 35 hours total. One of the things that are required is that there's a workbook that you have to have done before you can graduate. Is that right?
Yes.
And what did you learn from doing your workbook stuff?
I learned how to be more responsible when I'm hunting and
Okay.
about some of the wildlife.
Okay. And Joe, we talk about conservation, and who are the true conservationists in America? What group?
The hunters.
The hunters, you betcha, because we're the ones that pay for conservation in America. The anti-hunting groups, they don't pay a dime to help out wildlife in America. It's the sportsmen, it's the hunters that do that, and you two, as being now young hunters and conservationists, you'll be doing your part to help make sure that wildlife is here in America in years to come. We know that the rules are important in hunting. Rules are set up by who? What agency?
The Arizona Game and Fish
Yes,
Department.
that's right. And you remember about the commission? You know what the commission does? Remember, they're the appointed body that sets the rules and regulations and stuff. You remember we talked about that in class? About what the commission's role is? About, they set the rules and regulations for hunters in Arizona. Do you know who you remember who funds hunter education? Remember what groups? It's taxes on firearms, it's taxes on fishing equipment, and those taxes are used to pay for wildlife and for conservation and for hunter education programs throughout America. Now, in Arizona, part of the rules are we have bag limits. Well, what's a bag limit?
The bag limit is the number of game you can take at one time.
Okay, what's the possession limit?
That's how many you can keep, like, after you've already shot and have with you.
Okay, so that's would be essentially a limit after opening day,
Right.
right? You know what the limit for quail is in Arizona?
15 a day, and then the possession limit is 30.
Okay. What about doves?
That's 10 for the bag limit and then 20 for the possession.
Okay. Now we have a kind of a interesting bird out here. It's here in Kingman, all over Mojave County. Actually, it's called the Eurasian collared dove. That's a feral exotic, which means it's not native, right? It's not native to Arizona. It's not native to the United States. What's the limit on Eurasian doves?
No limit.
No limit. Do you know what the seasons are? Is there a season on it?
It's year round.
It's year round. That's right. I mean, there's no limit. It's year round. There's you know, you can keep as many as you want. Now the problem is most of them live in the city, so we know it's against the law to discharge firearms within the city limits, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's under special rules. Now, part of your instruction in that 2-week class, we actually we teach you during the weekends, and then the second weekend we actually have a field day. And tell people what a field day is on Hunter Ed.
For the field day, first we watched a demo of shooting. Then we did a simulation hunt, a blood trail, we shot guns.
Shot 22 rifles.
Right.
To show that you knew how to do what positions? What positions are you taught to use?
The prone, sitting, standing, and
Kneeling.
kneeling.
Which one's the most accurate?
The prone.
Right. So if you're out there hunting and you want to get the most accurate shot, you do it in the prone position. We taught you about gun carries, Joey. Okay? We give you situations where if your sister and you are walking side by side, which way would you have your muzzle pointed? If you two were walking this way now, which way, and you both got firearms, where are you pointing your muzzle?
Pointed up or to the left.
That's right. And where would you point your muzzle?
I could point it down out in front of me or back on my shoulder.
Okay. Could you also go to the side?
If it's just me
If
and
it's
him.
just you two.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and why is it important to control the muzzle?
That way you don't accidentally shoot somebody.
Right. Because that's the danger part of a firearm is at the muzzle, because that's where the projectile's coming out, right? So as long as you keep that muzzle pointed in a safe direction, then there's no issues of possibly hurting somebody else. Now, one of the things we talked about and is important to know is if we're out there hunting doves, the three of us, is zone of fire. Now, if you and all three of us are standing here and we're facing the camera, we're looking for doves, and each of us has a zone of fire. Joe, I want you to show me, looking that way, what is your zone of fire?
It's from like this right here
Okay.
and straight out to the side
Okay,
of
so
me.
anything between there and there, that's your bird to shoot at, right? Because it's safe. Okay, Hallie, show me where your zone of fire is. Okay, now you notice they actually cross right here, right? My zone of fire would be like this. So mine actually crosses hers. So everybody knows she can only shoot at birds within this. I can only shoot at birds from here to my right, and Joey demonstrated properly the way to do it. Okay, thank you. These are just some of the things that you folks learned and that we teach in hunter education to teach young hunters and old hunters. Your dad was in there too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we teach him too if he doesn't know, and a lot of folks don't know this. They don't know the proper way when they're out in the field what the zone of fire is. I mean, you know, some people may think that if you were in the middle that you could shoot all the way over here. Well, where does that place the muzzle?
Right by your head.
Yes, so you don't do that. So these are things that we teach to the youngsters and to anyone who takes our class. And obviously, they took this class 2 or 3 months ago. They still understand this. They can still demonstrate it. And it shows that hunter education does work. Now, part of the thing that we do every day, we would ask questions about the workbooks. You have to have your workbooks done, right?
Yeah.
Okay? And Joe, we expect everybody to participate in the class. We're going to ask you lots of questions, aren't we?
Yes.
And we do demonstrations where every student, no matter if they're 10 years old or 60 years old, they've got to come to the front of the class and do a demonstration and show the rest of the class that they know what they're doing. Like if we're talking about shoulder carry firearms or pointing the firearm in a carry position, any of that kind of things, demonstrating the shooting positions. Each of you were required to come up in front of the class and demonstrate that you knew that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick on field day, you talked about getting to shoot. What kind of firearms did you shoot, Hallie?
We shot 22 rifles.
22 rifles. And what positions did you shoot? Do you remember?
We shot in the prone, kneeling, standing, and sitting.
Yeah. Now, Joel, we did blood trail. Now, what's blood trail? What does that mean?
Blood trail is when you wound an animal and you follow the blood trail till you find your animal.
Okay. So we know that every shot is not absolutely perfect, and even the ones that are perfect, the animal can go a little distance. And we showed you how to track and how to find that and recover that animal, right?
Yes.
Okay. We also taught you how to cross fences. How do you cross fences? Should you just climb over barbed wire fences holding a gun?
No.
What should you do?
You should. The proper way to do it would be just put the gun over on the other side and put maybe like your hat underneath the muzzle so no dirt gets in it.
Right.
And then you can cross it, but make sure that you unload your gun.
Do you
before
ever
sit
climb
down.
over that wire?
No.
No. Okay. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about hunter education. Then we're going to talk about a fishing trip that these folks went on and how many fish they caught. They found that they're also pretty good fishermen besides good students. So don't go away. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Back at Camp. I'm your host, Captain Don Martin, and two special guests today, Hallie Powell and Joey Powell. They were recent students in a hunter education class that we taught, and both of them did outstanding. Now, part of this class was you demonstrated your skills that you obtained during that class in field day. But we also had a final test. It's a 50-question test, and that shows and kind of measures to us as instructors if you guys actually learned the concepts we were trying to teach. Now, what did you get on your final test?
I got a 98.
Wow. And what'd you get?
94.
Wow, that's outstanding, folks. These are two outstanding students. Now, the staff, less me, I didn't get to vote, voted on what we call the top honor graduates for our class. And you were selected by the staff as the other instructors as the top honor graduate, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now as part of that, I, as a business owner of Striper Hunters, donate a free fishing trip to the top honor graduate. So Hallie here is going to get a free fishing trip for her and her parent, which in this case is Brian. But you came with another request. What'd you ask me?
If my brother could come with.
Yeah, how's that? She asked if her brother could also go, which I thought was simply outstanding, and of course I agreed to it. Now, we had class in March, and we waited 2 or 3 months before we could get our schedules all squared away. But we finally did go out fishing, and who went on that trip? Who was the people on the trip?
Me, my brother, my dad, you, and Johnny.
And who's Johnny?
He was one of the instructors.
Okay, he was one of the instructors in the class. So there was 5 of us that went out. We went up to South Cove, got in the boat. We actually ran up towards Temple Bar, and we went striper fishing. Have you guys been fishing, striper fishing before up there?
No.
So this is your first trips up there, huh? Up to South Cove, or out of South Cove to Temple Bar?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we got up there and got set up, got the lights set out, started fishing. Just for the record, who caught the first fish?
You did.
Thank you. See, that's why I'm the captain. I caught the first fish. Now, who caught the first fish out of your family?
I did.
Uh-oh. And you what was it, a striper or catfish?
Striper.
And how big was it?
I don't know.
You don't know. Well, maybe I can help you. Okay. Can you tell me, Joe, help me with this. Hold that fish. Hallie, was the first fish you caught that big?
Just a tad bit smaller.
Tad bit smaller. Okay, so there you have it, folks. Our honor graduate, her first fish was just a tad bit smaller than this one. Okay? True fisherman. True fisherman. So we fished through the night. You know, we stayed hydrated. We had water and soda and Powerade and stuff. And as it went on, you know, you were sitting in the front of the boat. Your dad was sitting in the front of the boat, and then Joe, you and Johnny were kind of sitting in the back. I was sitting in the back on the right-hand side of the boat. So, did you catch fish? I mean, we know you caught the first one. A little bit smaller than that fish, but did you actually catch a fish?
Yes.
How many fish did you catch?
I caught 14 fish.
That's 14 that you got into the boat.
Right.
Did you catch any catfish?
1.
Was it big?
Not really.
It wasn't as big as that striper?
No.
And what were you using for bait?
Anchovies and squid.
Okay, and did you bait your own hooks?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Who baited your hooks?
You did?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you bait them?
I don't know. You just took the pole and just baited them for me, so I just let you.
Oh, okay, so that was okay.
Yeah.
How about taking the fish off the hooks?
You did that too.
Oh, so I did that too. So
Yeah.
basically, all you did was just sit there and crank them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Joe, you catch some fish?
Yeah.
And you're sitting there back there by Johnny. Does Johnny know how to fish, really? I mean,
Yeah.
You think he does?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't
Did he
know.
catch any fish that night?
Yeah.
Did you catch any fish fishing with him?
Yeah.
How many did you catch?
12.
You got a dozen? Did you catch any big ones?
Kind of.
Kind of. Were they as big as Hallie's?
No.
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 No. You're saying that none of his fish were bigger than yours?
That big.
No, they weren't that big. I have pictures, you know. I have pictures, and I know you guys got some good fish because I got some pictures of them. Now Johnny, I guess we ought to give Johnny credit. Johnny sat back over there in the corner, and I was wondering what he was doing, but what he was doing was catching fish, and I think, if my records indicate, Johnny was the boat champion. He beat the captain, you know. And Johnny, though he didn't catch the first fish, who caught the last fish?
My dad.
That's right. Right at daylight, what did he catch?
Catfish, I think.
Yeah, nice catfish. I have pictures of that too. So he caught the last catfish. Now, speaking of your dad, Joe, how'd your dad do that night?
Okay.
Okay. Now, in TV talk, okay means he didn't do well. Did he not catch any fish?
No, he caught them.
Oh, well, how many did he catch?
I don't know.
Do you know? Well, now don't fib.
9.
He caught 9 for sure, though he thinks that maybe other people took his credit for his fish. But officially, we're only going to give him credit for 9 fish. Johnny, on the other hand, remember how many he caught?
30.
30, okay? And they were only fishing, 6 feet apart?
Yeah.
Now, where do you figure, how can Johnny catch 30 and your dad catch 9? What do you think's the deal there? Is he just not a good fisherman?
No. Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, have you seen your dad fish before?
No.
Oh, no. So you don't know if he's a good fisherman or not. Has he ever said he's a good fisherman?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, it's a good thing because if he caught 9, then, you know, that's just kind of the way it goes. But anyway, everybody caught fish. We had a ball, right? Remember how many fish we caught total in the boat?
96.
96 fish. Joe, how many stripers we get? Remember?
85.
Yep. We caught 85 stripers. We caught 11 catfish. Okay. We didn't set any records for big fish or, you know, big stripers or big catfish, But just so everybody knows, our big fish in the boat weighed 1 pound, 14 ounces. You know who caught that?
I did.
Wouldn't you know it? She said she caught it. And you know what? I think she did. It was a nice fish. Our big 10, which was our 10 best fish, weighed 13 pounds, 14 ounces. So that average means each one of those fish weighed about 1 pound, 3 ounces, which is just about average for Lake Mead for this time of the year. Remember how many pounds we had for our best 40?
I think it was 47.
47 pounds, 14 ounces, which means that we have a pretty good mess of fish there. Now, who helped do the fish cleaning, the filleting of the fish? Did you?
I cut the ribs.
You cut a few ribs out?
Yeah.
How about Joe? You get involved in some of the action?
Yeah.
Okay, what about your dad?
No.
Your dad didn't get involved in the cleaning process?
No.
No.
Oh, boy. Now, you remember how, when it was all done, we had bags of fillets. Bags of fillets. Remember how many fillets we had? How many pounds?
18 striper and 3 pounds.
Had 18 pounds of striper fillets and 3 pounds of catfish fillets. That's a pretty good bunch of fish, right? Now, these fishing trips are more than just fishing. When we come back, we had to fillet them, okay? I did the filleting, you guys did the ribbing, but then there's always a cleanup thing, right? You got to clean the boat, you got to clean the ice chest, you got to clean the bait chest and that kind of thing. And did you all help on that?
Yes.
And what happened when you took the heads out? What critters out there like the heads?
The
Vultures.
coyotes.
The coyotes, vultures, ravens, right? Okay, and remember we talked about when those animals and those birds get on those carcasses, remember we talked about what was the first part that they eat? Do you remember?
The eyes.
And why is that?
They're juicy.
They're juicy. Remember, we live in the desert, right? What's the most important thing you need to survive in the desert?
Water.
Right. So those birds and those animals realize that those eyeballs on those stripers are full of a liquid, right? So they go after them first because they can find food, but they can't always find water or a liquid. So that's why they go after that. So you kind of got to learn some stuff. Remember, we looked into the stomachs of some of the stripers that we caught. You remember what they had in their stomachs?
Our bait.
They had pieces of anchovy, right? What else they had?
Rocks.
They had some rocks that kind of looked like maybe a mussel or something. They actually ate a few rocks. Joe, you remember what else they had in them? What kind of little critter in there? It's got little pinchers on it. Remember those?
Crawdad.
Crawdads. Had a couple of little small crawdads that they were eating. So I guess the bottom line is, what did you think about the trip?
It was really fun.
You had a ball?
Yeah.
Joel, did you like it?
Yeah.
Did you recommend Hunter Ed to your friends?
Yes.
And you tell them if they do real good, they get to go on a fishing trip maybe? That's kind of a reward for doing real good. So I think you guys were outstanding students, and I think the staff made a great selection in picking you as our honor graduate for that class, and I'm glad you let Joe come along. He did outstanding too. So anyway, hey, we're out of time. Hallie, I had a ball.
Thank
Joe, thank you for coming. Folks, 2 outstanding students from Kingman. They absolutely earned that fishing trip. Hey, this is your host, Captain Don Martin, saying take hunter education, but also keep your fishing lines fresh, your firearms oiled. We'll see you next week back at camp.